Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. In the spirit of reviewing lower cost pens, this color combination struck my fancy and I found an eBay auction and I ended up buying it. Interesting packaging, interesting phrase. Where have we heard that before? And it also has this interesting label that we've seen before. Not necessarily on German made, we think German made, but there's nothing here to indicate where this pen was actually made. I think it has interesting features to it. A couple people have reviewed this pen. I don't think they reviewed this particular color, but I felt it was worth a look at it from my perspective. You know, one of the things that Kaweco is good at doing is branding. Generally on the cap or on the barrel. Here the barrel does not have any branding on it. Now the end looks like it will preclude using it as an eyedropper, but we'll explore that. And then at the top of the cap you have the interesting Kaweco logo that's in, I think, almost all of their pens, at least all of their modern pens. Pull off cap and we see the pen. I think the black nib really works well with this pen, and you have two kind of black accents here on either side of the section. The section is contoured. You have your three facets to show you how to hold it, and you really can't hold it off of those. So for those of you that like to rotate your nibs, this is probably not a pen for you. It posts very deeply, very securely. The pen is very light, so that doesn't add anything to it. So I pride myself in being a diligent and prudent shopper, but for this pen, I paid too much on eBay. Here's the eBay auction. I didn't look around. I didn't search. I just saw the pen. It was an impulse buy, and that's what happens. I mean, it's only a few dollars difference. In the current thing, and today is Super Bowl Sunday, so for those of you in the United States that follow that, or the world, it is a global event. Jet Pen seems to have the least cost of this item. Here's a look at their website. So if you're interested in this pen after we go through the review, it's certainly in the affordable category. It's certainly sized nicely, and it's made by a reputable German. It's backed by a reputable German company. And I expect the nib will perform well as all my Kaweco nibs have performed on my other Kaweco pens. The barrel just unscrews, and we see a blank cartridge and then one that's filled. So you can put two cartridges in there. These are your standard international cartridges. Interesting that they decided not to give you two full of ink. I mean, this one is basically useless except for as a spacer. But that's, you know, the nature of an inexpensive pen. You're going to be some compromises made to it. But here's a converter, which is obviously what I'll use. And those of you may recognize this converter. Standard International. It fits nice and securely. So we're going to use this to fill the pen up with. I'm not a fan of cartridges. I like using my bottled ink, and I like putting in the amount of ink that I like and able to expel that ink if I decide I don't want to use it in the pen. So what ink to put in to the Perkeo, but this one called out to me. I don't think I have it in a pen right now. It's part of my Chinese series. No glitter, no sheen, just a nice brown. On the light side of brown, maybe the orange side of brown or yellow side of brown. Be interesting to see how it works in the nib. Here's a series of 5 inks that I got a while ago, almost a year ago at AliExpress. And you can see why I picked number 5. I felt the color might be complementary to the Kaweco Perkeo. pen writes okay on the dry side, and I don't consider this ink to be a dry ink, but it lays down a nice line, decent amount of shading. The nib is fairly smooth. You may not have been able to hear the nib that well because we have a pretty intense storm going on outside. We may get a couple of inches of rain tonight. But it feels good on the paper. Nothing to write home about, pun intended. But it's an everyday writer. It's a student-style pen. It's a beginner-style pen. And I think it fits that category very well. And it's also at an affordable price, available from a number of different sources. I always like to look at jet pens for pens like this. Also check out Amazon. And I'm always amazed when I see things in Facebook posts where people ask questions which can be easily answered if they would just do a Google search. And here's what you see when you do a Google search for Kaweco Perkeo. Get you lots of information. A lot better and more objective than asking a question on Facebook. So here we have the Kaweco Perkeo. Disassembled as much as I'm going to do it. I did take this converter apart to clean it completely and put some silicone grease on everything. The nib and the feed pulled out very easily. It's a nice black nib. There's a Kaweco logo on it, and it's M for medium. It just pulled easily out of this section. It's not a screw in or screw out, just a push in and pull out. Let's take a look inside the cap. Yes, we are very much in dark mode. It is nighttime here. We'll see a nice plastic liner there at the top of the cap, but it doesn't seem to be one that's going to come down to the section, as it probably should. But we'll see how it works out. Get to accent those flat stops on the octagonal cap. And of course, the section also has its interesting patterns. So you may ask, Chris, if you don't like that medium Kaweco nib, what other choices do you have? Well, here's my number 5 palette of nibs. You can see they run from fine to a 0.5, 0.7, 1.1, 0.9. It's like all the way up. Here's an example of a number 6 just to show you the difference in size. There's a big glob of tipping on that nib, and there's a few day one. So lots of choices that I have. I also have some black ones, but they are currently in use. So I've had this pen for over 5 years, close to 6, and I'm just doing a review now. It just kind of got forgotten about, pushed to the side, but I've always kept it active on my desk, knowing that someday I would present it to you. Let's look at some dimensions. So this is definitely, could be called a pocket pen. You know, pop the cap and write. Post very nicely. It's lightweight. Again, it has that section with the triangular grip to it, but it works good. The nib only fits in one way, so it's always going to be aligned with the section. And I think the price is fine. You know, it's a lot less than a Lamy Safari, which to me is another pen of similar vein, and also from a German pen maker. I kind of like this one. I don't mind that it's no clip, but then some people don't like that. But the way this cap is faceted, the octagonal flat spots, it's not going to roll away, which is what a lot of people are concerned about. And, you know, to me, pocket pens are in your pocket or in your bag, so the clip doesn't get used that much. Do I like the pen? I like almost every pen, so I'm going to say this one is definitely above average as far as like. and as I mentioned, is certainly a great value. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Yeah, if you have any comments, please feel free to comment. I don't have any restrictions about responding to your comments, and I don't ask you for any money, so please feel free, and that is true, feel free to participate with my channel. So let's do a final write-up and close out the video. So as I mentioned, this is a good writer, and yeah, it was uncapped for a while, so it just skipped a little bit in the beginning, which is no big deal. Most pens will be like that. So I'd like to thank all you for watching. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, exploring this amazing wide world of pens that we are very fortunate to have an opportunity to partake in. So we've reached the end of this video, and we will say bye. I like this ink in this pen. Works nice.